Good morning. It's Saturday, November 19th. And today I want to talk about Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has been a member of Congress for over 20 years. And for much of that time, she was a leader, Speaker of the House of the Democratic Party. But she has come back and stepped down from her leadership role. She will not be trying to be the minority leader or hang around to be Speaker of the House again. She has given that role up. And it has been a tumultuous 20-year career. She created many situations that were very good for this country. But the thing that I remember most about her, and this is in spite of the fact that House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy on Fox News said Wednesday, "We have fired Nancy Pelosi." Big deal. You won an election by the skin of your teeth. But I remember Nancy Pelosi standing in front of Donald Trump and pointing her finger at him while they were having a meeting at the White House and telling him that what he was doing to this country was no damn good. And then again, there were several pictures of her in meetings with a huge table of representatives sitting around it. Men at all levels of government. And Pelosi standing up and pointing her finger directly at Trump again. So Pelosi was not a woman who took things lightly. She took her job as leader deadly serious. And she did a good job for 20 years. There are many bills that she got passed that helped this country. With one of the slimmest party splits in history, she was able to get a $1.9 trillion pandemic aid package passed last year, and a $750 billion health care, energy, and climate bill in August. And I'll tell you something, she could have done a heck of a lot better if it wasn't for a guy named Joe Manchin. But her political career had its ups and downs, but she stuck with it. And she had an extraordinary ability to understand and overcome the political shifts that were surrounding the government in the 20 years. Don't forget, she was in a leadership role when George Bush was the president. And then she became Speaker when Obama was the president. And then she lost the speakership when somebody else was the president. But I will always remember the finger pointing and the tearing up of the speech when Donald Trump addressed Congress as his State of the Union on 2020. And then there was her interest in children. She raised 5 kids before she became a member of Congress. And she never believed that she was going to be a politician, but she rose to the occasion. And there are many pictures of her with little children that she had invited into the halls of Congress and had them stand up at the front of the room with her. They were the children and the grandchildren of the senators and the congressmen. And she treated those young kids beautifully. And they were all smiling, and that was a great image. So this was not a woman who always had a bulldog face on it. She knew how to play the game, and that's what made her a very good speaker. And remember, she is the only woman speaker, the first and only woman speaker that ever led a political party in Congress. And she's not going to be succeeded by a woman. Rumor has it that Hakeem Jeffries will be the next Speaker of the House. And it's not that she had easy sledding. In the 2018 election, we had a bunch of young progressives led by AOC come into Congress with a bunch of new and astonishing and half-baked ideas. And Nancy had to deal with those people along with the Republicans. Not an easy task when you've got a group of people in your own party that have to be managed properly and kept under control. But she did that. She did all those things. So there will be many out there that are very sorry to see her leave this post because she did an extraordinary job. And I know there are lots of rumors about what she did in her personal life and how she took advantage of her situation in Congress. But I don't believe she did anything that any other congressman wasn't doing all along. And then, of course, recently she had to go through this horrible attack on her husband, where he was beaten with a hammer, had hands and fingers and bones in his body broken and a fractured skull, and he had to undergo surgery. And many thought at that point that she would stay home with him and take care of him. But he's recovering well, and so she's going to continue in Congress. Now, I don't know if she's going to run for re-election one more time after this session, after this term. But whatever it is, let us remember that this was a great lady, that she did wonderful things for this country. And yes, she probably was a pain in the ass to many. But that's part of the job. You can't be an effective leader unless you take chances, unless you take a stand. And she took a stand. She was not wishy-washy. And I hope all of you remember the finger pointing and the tearing up of speeches, because she made no bones about where she stood. And there are not many people out there who have taken positions that openly against the leader of the country. To this day, there are many who are afraid of him, but not Nancy Pelosi. And you give her, and I give her a lot of credit for that. So I leave you with that. This is an end of an era, and I think this was a good era for this country. And let us hope that the new leadership of the Democratic Party can do just as good a job and strive to do a better job than Nancy Pelosi, which I think will be very difficult to achieve. So I'll leave you with those thoughts this morning. Have a great day. Bye.